Okay, well, it started.
Alright, starting.
Yep.
Well, these.
Where do you want to sit, Brandon?
Get a beer. Get a beer in you. You got a beer right there, Jacob?
I got a beer.
You need a beer, Jacob?
I'm working on beer.
You set?
Yeah, I got one. Well, it's always weird trying to start these things, anyways, because
Yeah.
you never know what to talk about. You're always nervous. You don't know how to start a subject.
She listens good. She usually doesn't go very far either.
But we just kind of just go off the cuff and kind of just be regular. If we just
You're in there. It covers the whole corner there.
Oh, true.
Yep, you're good.
yeah.
Well,
All right, guys.
Well, it's yeah.
Let's do like an introduction. We don't even know what's going on.
Well,
episode 1, we're testing out our new podcast.
Yeah,
Pre-trial.
Yeah, we're trying this out. We don't know.
Figuring everything out.
We're trying to not be weird about it.
So welcome
But
to the Burn Bros podcast.
yeah,
Episode 1.
the Burn Bros, I guess. Maybe, I don't know.
That's definitely going to be the
Okay.
name.
Name
yeah.
pending.
Name pending, but it's not,
We'll have a vote. You guys can vote on it.
the Burn Bros is a pretty strong point. I mean, so it's better to kind of just like live in the moment with these things, because it's always weird to kind of just like make up subjects and try and think of topics and not sound like fucking weirdos or whatever, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least make it sound awkward. So
Got to keep it all natural.
We can talk about anything though.
Yeah.
Recent events.
yeah, well,
Like that Derico storm that hit the Midwest here
yeah,
recently.
which fucking sucked.
How crazy was that?
It was insane. I mean,
You never
Hurricane.
you
hurricane.
that's like weather
hurricane
you would
winds,
never fucking expect in Iowa.
Category 2
especially
hurricane
in the middle
winds.
of the country.
And I mean, you know, like in states where they get hurricanes and winds like that,
Yeah.
they have their houses built to
And
withstand all that stuff. They got the
some-
shutters that come down
Yeah.
and palm trees,
Well-
you know, are they
some-
adapted to that kind of weather.
Some telemarketer in like Florida or whatever called me, or I don't know if it was a telemarketer. I think it was like some sort of college recruit thing. I don't know.
Mhm.
It was kind of dumb, but she was living in Florida and she was saying, "Oh yeah, is the weather nice out there?" I was like, "Yeah, it wasn't like a couple days ago." "Oh, I heard about that." Oh, fucking.
Yeah,
Like,
we literally got a
it's
hurricane.
like, yeah, we
through
had
the Midwest.
Yeah, I said, it was like we basically got hurricane-like winds up here, and she was like, "Yeah, I heard about that. Oh my god!" And it's like, yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess it technically wasn't a hurricane, but I said if it looks like it, if it fucking smells like it, if it,
Well, they said
it
some-
probably is it. You know.
Some cities had Category 2 hurricane
Yeah.
winds.
Nobody's.
The worst part about a hurricane is the wind
Oh, yeah.
in general, you know, because it fucking blows debris around, rips shit apart, you know.
And the worst we got was
But-
trees, and everybody else. And
Cedar Rapids got fucked though.
Huxley got
as far as
really
as
bad,
far as
too.
Des Moines goes,
Yeah.
Des Moines just got a lot of power lines down and trees falling.
There was a lot of houses that got fucked up too, though.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, though, in other states where hurricanes are regular, they get warnings. There
Yeah.
was no warning for us because it's
Well,
not
I mean,
normal.
They turned the siren
It
on.
was,
so
but it was 5 seconds before the fucking
That's what I'm saying.
storm came.
In other states, they know
Well,
at
plus-
the start of the day,
plus
like,
living in Iowa, you never expect it. You never expect something like that, because even when they do turn on the tornado sirens when there's going to be a severe thunderstorm, it never ends up being that bad.
And well,
So when I heard it, I was just like, "Oh, it's just another fucking thunderstorm in Iowa," you know. And then it rolled in so fast, and those winds, it went from no wind to just crazy.
Yeah, I was in Ankeny working when it happened.
I heard the sirens
I
go
was
off.
in West Des Moines, but
I heard the sirens go off, and they usually go off the first of every month, and it was kind of early in the month. But I was thinking to myself, it's like it's Monday.
they went off two or
First
three
off,
different
it's not
times.
Saturday.
We saw it rolling because we're up on roofs and
Yeah.
stuff, so we
They-
saw that whole
Dark ass
system
fucking.
just slowly come
got
up, and I was like,
They got a bunch. They just started putting some videos on YouTube of Cedar Rapids.
oh yeah, I'm sure
Like,
there's tons of.
They show like
There's, like-
pine trees
Mhm.
getting blown around.
corn
and shit.
silos and shit like that
Yeah.
are like literally folded in half
Yeah.
and shit, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
That's like
Yeah, I saw a whole farm.
There's a lot of cornfields that have gotten
Usually
fucked
you'd
because
think-
the
Oh, yeah,
winds
they're
blew
flat.
them over. You
They're
know?
flat.
Well, usually you'd think Iowa would get tornadoes. It's like maybe it was. Maybe there's like some invisible kind of like mini tornadoes within inside of that little hurricane thing that.
Well, the
happened.
gusts of wind were probably.
But it's damn near the same thing as a tornado and as like a hurricane.
Mhm.
But I don't. But I kind of. I mean, I kind of do, but I kind of don't know the difference between a tornado and a hurricane because they do just as much damage or an equal amount of damage. As,
Maybe we
as
should
one
look
another.
that up.
Well, I mean, I know there's a difference.
Well,
I don't want to sound like
I guess-
like an idiot, you know. But
A
I
tornado's more localized.
Yeah.
A hurricane
right,
is like
exactly.
and it's more on flat
multiple
land.
counties.
Because a
and,
hurricane's a big storm, pretty much,
Yeah.
but
But
it kind of gets a
there was-
rotation going.
Yeah,
But it's just really
but a
strong
tornado
winds, you know?
we would spot. That's the
Yeah.
thing. If it was like an actual tornado, then
Yeah, you would see the funnel come down.
It would drop down and
And that's what
spin
we're
out,
that's
but-
what we're used to in Iowa.
Yeah,
Somebody
Or at
spots
least-
somebody spots a funnel cloud forming and
Yeah.
they
or
they
at least the
report it and
Midwest
then
in
you
general.
know and then
you know?
fucking the weather service warns us of a possible tornado touching down. But with this storm that passed through,
it
it's
was
like
so fast.
it wasn't a tornado and the wind it just came through so fast. You know, it's like I don't
think
think anybody was ready for it to be as bad as it
Well,
was.
I think it was changing so fast.
Mhm.
Nobody knew what was going to
Mhm.
happen really, so there was
and,
no
then,
real
and then right when it
like
fucking
good
hit,
warning. You know.
right when it hit us, it fucking was just crazy bad.
Yeah, and there's a trampoline next to our neighbors, and it did I think 6 or 10 front flips that I didn't even see because I was staring out the window, looking at the front yard, watching it come, watching
Looking at
it
the
like
trees,
like an
fucking-
idiot, first of all because you're never it doesn't matter
You're not supposed to be by a window.
with that mile an hour winds, you're not
Yeah.
at all supposed to be. But you're in Iowa, so and especially during Corona and all that stuff, so nothing's really going down.
Here in Iowa,
There's nothing going down. First of all,
yeah.
and then you got Corona on top of it. Then it's worse. Then you have literally almost nothing going on besides walking, and then you got the power going out afterwards, which you might as well fucking be cavemen.
You might as well be living in the 1800s
Yeah.
because
Oh, thankfully I got DVDs. So.
reading books by candlelight.
Yeah,
and shit.
everybody was freaking out, but if you got a portable DVD player or at least a plug-in that goes into your car, you can wire a long cord to your
Or battery.
Yeah,
a lot of people
powered.
got
We
battery.
we
Or
were
whatever.
white trash and an ingenuity
MacGyvers.
MacGyvered our shit.
Yeah, MacGrubered. We MacGrubered some stuff. So
All we had was a TV and a fucking DVD player running,
Yeah.
but it got us through those couple
Yeah.
days. I'll tell you what.
or at least one of them.
Yeah.
We
Yeah. The second night I went to my parents, I was like, "Fuck
Yeah.
this shit. It's hot."
Better than staring at a wall.
No, but like, fuck. I had a tree fall on me in that fucking storm. That shit was crazy as fuck,
Yeah.
dude.
10
And it's like
stitches.
it rolled in so fucking fast.
Oh yeah, it was fast.
Like we were trying to like what happened with my situation was we had one house that day. It wasn't very big, and for one they said that it wasn't supposed to start storming until like 2-3 o'clock. You know.
Yeah.
So we're like, all right, we can just go get this one house done real quick, you
Yeah,
know, because
wash in their windows.
she still wanted it done, you know. So we're like, all right, let's go make this money, get this house done.
Supply and demand.
And,
unfortunately.
I literally had finished my last window, and it started getting really dark, you know. So I knew the fucking storm was close. And I put the ladder down, and I was taking the detachable standoff thing we got for it off of it,
Yeah.
and I took that off, sat it on the ground. I was getting ready to pick the ladder back up to put it on top of the van, and that's when it went from no wind to just
100.
them. Yeah, like literally the
0 to
first
100.
gust was just fat. You know, the wind was just crazy out of
Yeah.
nowhere, and like it didn't even take.
It went from
It didn't
0
even.
to 100
Yeah,
real quick.
it didn't even take but 5 seconds. Like those first couple of gusts for that
Yeah.
tree to
No
fucking.
pun intended.
Yeah. For that.
Literally.
Like 5 seconds for that tree to fucking snap. I heard the fucking snap behind me, and then like it happened so fast, like it fell on top of me, and you know.
Yeah.
I heard that snap, and then it was just like, boom, I'm getting knocked to the ground. And
You just never know. What
then I'm instantly crawling out of it because I wasn't that hurt, besides having to get 10 stitches and whatnot.
Yeah, that could have ended
a
lot worse.
Oh, yeah. I could have died or been paralyzed or anything.
Yeah, thank God.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. You know, we're not used to. We're used to having messed up weather and all that stuff in Iowa, but
not 100 mile an hour winds out of nowhere.
Right. Sometimes you get curveballs. You know, like and that goes for the winter too, because we get pretty cold here, but like a lot of the times it's like the lowest it's ever gotten that I've remembered is probably about maybe 50 to 100 below.
Oh, I think last year?
No 100 below, but 50 at least. That's Alaska.
Wasn't it last year or the year before? It got down to negative 50 wind chill.
Something like that. One of them.
I remember the negative 50 for sure.
Yeah,
and they were like literally like do not go outside.
I was kind of exaggerating on the 100 because. You know, it's like that'd be like a curveball for us.
Negative
we're not
50 is really fucking cold though.
But that's what in like certain states like Alaska and like or places in Canada, they wait till it's like negative 50 like that, and they get like ready for everybody to like come around. It's like there's nothing to do. We can't really do anything because there's snow blocking everything. But it's so cold out, you can get hot boiling water and throw it outside and it'll just turn into dust. It won't, or mist or whatever.
Fuck that.
It's just that people just hang outside the door and like, are you ready? 1, 2, 3, and then they throw the hot steaming bucket out and it just.
No offense to Alaska, but fuck that.
Well, we get it too.
I've
actually done it.
I've heard people say that they'll pay you to go live in Alaska. Fuck that. I don't care. No offense.
It depends.
No offense to people that live in Alaska.
It would be kind of cool to live in Alaska for at least a year. If you can do it for a year and like, hey, we're gonna pay you X amount of money, it's like, oh well, I mean, you know, I'll be able to. Because I mean, with me, I got to make sure this is covered. So I got to make sure this is my house is keeping going. So if I can make enough money to make sure this keeps going, plus live out there, I'll do it. I'll live anywhere almost, you know. I mean, not anywhere, but still.
I think my
as
dream.
Long as I figure out how to maintain this and going somewhere else, I mean, I'm good. I mean, I can rent it out or whatever.
My dream state to live in would probably be Colorado because I like the mountains. It's really beautiful up there.
Oh yeah.
Everybody wants.
I mean, the ocean. To live next to the ocean would be cool too, but you know, I mean, I don't know.
Then you're at risk for hurricanes and stuff,
shit like that.
More hurricanes,
tsunamis, and
I mean, we're kind of used to it at this point, you know.
Well, 2020.
We're getting it at both ends.
I would like the weather.
You know,
living down there.
I saw something about an alien.
Gotta go take a potty break.
Somebody spotted a UFO. I think it was. I can't remember what country it was, but there was some kind of recent UFO spotting that's apparently going going viral and everything. And
I barely focus on anything, so this is new information to me.
It was something on Facebook. You know, Facebook, who knows? But
it's
and with the internet and everybody taking pictures and photoshopping and all this and that, you can make a video of whatever, make it look as real as hell, and no one's ever gonna know the difference because.
Well, I mean that's the thing. Some people, you kind of got to watch film a lot to realize what it is.
To start spotting those things.
But nowadays it's really hard. Even reality TV is fake.
Yeah.
Most of the time you're not even getting the real shit. This and whatever podcasts all the other comedians and writers and podcasters or whatever are doing. Those are the closest things to reality shows as we can get. Those are that's pure reality. Regardless if we're not throwing drinks in each other's face or cheating on each other's wives with each other, we're doing as far as telling campfire stories at the very most, because that's what people like. That's nature.
Real is boring.
Yeah, real
That's
is
why
real
TV
is boring, and but only the smart people understand boring. Like they can see past boring. You know,
There's different crowds, but I'd say the majority of the crowd likes to see unrealistic situations
drama
and
is what
drama
it is.
and yeah.
It's either comedy or drama, and everybody else is doing
That's
whatever.
what brings in the
But-
views.
I mean, and that's probably a lot of the times what podcasts are, because there's a lot of funny podcasts. I mean, we don't know what kind of podcast this is going to be. Hopefully, there's going to be some humor in it. I mean, I like to have a good time.
Episode 1, so we'll see where this takes us.
You know, but just the fact that everybody's just, I mean, everybody's just kind of like putting in these scenarios, because I mean, we don't have anybody telling us what to do. It's like, why don't you tell him he's doing a bad job or whatever. No directors going trying to stir shit up or cut this out and do whatever, because nobody even knows us or even cares enough about us to even care what we're doing and how we're doing.
We
it.
run this shit.
We run it. It's, I mean, right now this is a tester and it's feeling pretty good. I'm liking it. I'm having a good time.
We're just bullshitting.
Yeah,
Talking about stuff.
And that's what and that's the purity I wanted out of it. But that could put us in the purity tease. That could put us in a particular situation, because that can lead us into, well, I mean, that just with these stimulants, the alcohol, they can lead us into a dumb conversation and spacing out. But regardless,
people like real though.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean,
we're not
going to be. Nobody's perfect. If anybody says they're perfect, then they're the worst people. You don't want to hang out.
I'd rather watch a down to earth, just like real, like relatable conversation than like, you know, something just.
Yeah, especially between friends and stuff.
Yesterday I was
Totally
driving my fucking Ferrari and
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
cop pulled me over.
Rich
and
people
then
problems.
They knew who I was, so they totally let me go.
There's nothing more boring than rich people problems or whatever. And even rich people
I wish
tell
I was
you that.
rich, but
I want to hear about poor people problems.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's where
Let's
the drama
see some
is.
change in that. Poor people.
Poor people problems.
Middle class.
Exactly.
Middle class people problems. Those are some stories. I got some stories about some of that shit. I'll tell you what. Every which way. I don't know at the top of my head right now, but
Yeah, we'll save that for episode
I get
2.
well right. But I guarantee
We
you.
gotta tell you all the juicy stuff on episode 1.
I mean, you know, everybody's got poor people problems. I think one of those examples was the power shortage that we had, and I had to rig up a cord through my car. But that's because
my parents didn't lose power at all, and it's because they live in Altoona, and where they're at, all
Yeah,
the
we
wires
did,
are underground.
a suburb that has a whole different mechanism. But everybody was getting at both ends in Iowa and throughout the Midwest, especially with that storm. So
Oh yeah, there's still people without power right now.
Yeah.
right.
Huxley, I'm sure, is still there's a lot of. We've been out there like 3 times in the past week, and
Yeah.
they've got power lines down on every single corner, and that is no exaggeration at all.
Oh yeah, I believe it. I mean,
Yeah.
I
It's
mean,
the worst.
we waited like after that tree fell on me. We waited inside because I needed to go get stitched up, but we weren't fucking gonna leave and drive through that fucking storm while it was all crazy like that, you know.
That's
So we
what
waited for it to pass, but it literally passed within 10 minutes. But as we were driving back home, just how much chaos and shit happened
Yeah.
in that 10 minutes. There was those construction signs, the blinking arrows that tell you to merge over.
Just,
Multiple of those knocked over and shit. Fucking just crazy, bro.
Yeah.
It looked like we literally got hit by a hurricane on our ride home.
yeah, it was crazy.
Well, like I said earlier, usually Iowa deals with fucking shitty weather as far as it goes, and I mean I've heard several people say Iowa is Mother Nature's rag, you know, or you know, in less cruder terms,
Handkerchief.
you know, but you know I mean, the thing is, there's just so much. It's like it's very bipolar weather. You never know what is going to happen here. And I'm not sure how it is for other states or whatever. If they're
We don't get too much extreme weather.
Yeah,
though.
I mean,
our weather is pretty predictable as far as like.
I mean, predictable as in it's gonna be shitty. Either way you look at
but
it.
it's not gonna be like what we
you
had.
you don't know if it's gonna hail. You don't know if it's gonna rain. You don't know if it's gonna depending on the season. You don't know if it's gonna snow or just be warm.
Well, and I saw that there's another hurricane. There's an actual hurricane system heading towards the United States right now. Yeah,
Well,
2 at the same
I
time.
heard that a couple days ago, so I don't know where that's at now, but
It's still heading this way.
Well,
And
everybody's
they said if they get close enough, if they get close enough to each other, they can merge into one.
a super
bigger,
Think about that. A storm that takes fucking multiple days to travel to where you're at. In one system. That's crazy.
It's going to be
crazy.
I mean, it's going to be difficult. I mean, human beings have the capability of coming together and fixing the problem, but here's the issue: we're in the middle of a pandemic of a biological disease, and nobody wants to be around each other. So it's kind of
man-made biological disease.
You're right. There was like apparently Netflix movies of like Chinese, like the Chinese movies that have like them talking about it in like 2018 or something like that. Yeah. Like Corona is going.
Well, the coronavirus has always been around. Like
right.
It's a strain of virus, but this one, this specific one is just
from 2019,
which is supposedly created in a lab in China in a level 4 CDC. I forget the full acronym.
Yeah, I heard the same thing.
But yeah, and supposedly it got out because they didn't follow proper procedure, and somebody ended up getting.
Nobody does. Why do you think it spread all the way here? Because nobody wants to fucking listen. Nobody wants to fucking listen. Everybody wants to, even like the people. Like it's one thing when somebody has it and wants to go out. It's like, yeah, I understand you don't want to be cooped up in your house for 2 fucking weeks, but it's
there's a bigger picture.
Just do your fucking part.
Yeah,
if you are sick, stay in your house for 2 weeks.
If you know you have it.
I know most of you probably don't have fucking DVDs or Netflix or whatever.
Yeah.
But if you're sick anyways, you're going to try to be laying in bed regardless. You need as much sleep as you can. So that's...
On that note, do you know Robbie Van Gundy?
Yeah.
He has it.
Oh.
Yeah, I just talked to him last week. He's probably done with it now, but yeah, I talked to him the other day, and he I was like, "What's up, man?" This and that. He's like, "Oh, I got the Rona." I'm like, "What?" Yeah. So yeah, he's had it for like a week. He got it from some girl or something,
yeah. Well, I think I know who that girl was.
Him that bad?
Here's the thing. I know who that girl was because that girl he was talking to, and her mom had it, and she was going around like not knowing what the results was. So and that's the thing. She's like a bar hopper that goes around all the bars that I go to and work at, but thankfully I haven't been going to the bars lately. I've been going to one bar. So she was going around, and I heard through my bartender friends that she was going to certain bars here and there, and they were like, "Well, I haven't gotten my Corona test back yet, and like, but I gotta wait 3 days." And it's like,
and they all let her.
Well, they were like, "You did what?" And it's like, "Yeah, I fucking took the test. I'm waiting on the results. It doesn't say I got Corona yet."
Like, why the hell are you out then?
Exactly. And then now you're making me feel bad because they didn't say I have it or not. It's like, yeah, regardless.
But if you don't know,
exactly,
come on.
It is.
Yeah,
that's simple.
There's a difference between.
It doesn't matter.
There's a difference between knowing you might have it and like you went and got tested, but you don't know if you have it for sure and going out.
If it's pending, definitely don't go out.
If you know you've been exposed,
yeah, definitely.
It doesn't matter whether you think you have it or not. You need to do the right thing.
You should just.
You're making it worse.
You should just stay home for the fucking 14
the thing
days.
Is, like at my job at XPO before I got fired, I told all my coworkers, if I end up getting it, I don't give a shit about all my bills. I mean, yeah, I need to pay bills and stuff, but if I end up getting it, I'm not gonna go to work. I'm not gonna expose other people.
If you test
I will
positive
take
for it,
I'll take the hit.
Yeah,
know?
if you test positive for it, then you go to the unemployment place and let them know, and then they're like, "Oh, you had corona? Okay, well, here's this, and that. Thank you for not going out and fucking spreading it like a moron."
Some employers are paying that out. Like at XPO, if I would have got it, or if she would have got it, and I had to take care of her or anybody that I'm close to,
they would have been potentially exposed. Yeah,
they'll give us 2 weeks of full vacation.
Leave.
You know, you don't have to pay it back.
Yeah.
So,
well, the thing is like we've been through the Black Plague through a long time, but they caught us at a certain time where we were technologically had a technological disadvantage. Yeah. We have
now
technology
and
science and all this stuff to help us in movies even. Like, nobody pays attention to movies. Movies are basically blueprints for the future and or the past, whatever happened in the past, because there's so many.
Jacob?
Huh?
You need another beer?
Yeah.
I need one too.
I'll take one.
Where are yours? In your little bag?
Yeah, they're in my cooler there.
And JT left some too on the record player. But even with movies, like nobody pays attention to movies. Everybody, and at the same time, you have to take it in consideration. A lot of times, movies are fake, even though some of them are based on true stories. Sometimes they make it all dramatic and have to make a big drama story or whatever. But the fact of the matter is, it's history and stuff like that can help for times like this, because we'll understand how to beat it faster, and we already are doing that. We got whoever's controlling the puppet strings already doing that as it is right now, and because they I mean, even if it was man-made like that, they're definitely going to try and control some of it. They want the dumb people are going to be the first ones to get it and spread it around and die, and and unfortunately there's been some good people who died during this pandemic.
It's only right.
Yeah.
Or the burn bros.
Unfortunately, there's been some good people who died, but at the same time, there's been some.
But
there's been some people that were ignorant about this whole thing and taking it the wrong way, and
some people just don't think they're gonna get it and they're not gonna die from it. But it doesn't matter. You, me, your grandma, your sister, somebody could buy some. Yeah, one of them could die. It's not, you don't know your.
I mean, even sometimes if you take it as serious as if you would get it, sometimes you can't. Sometimes you might have that feeling that you might not get it still. It's like, because sometimes you're
never gonna know if you're taking unless you get it.
But back to Robbie.
He's like, Robbie.
Back to Robbie though.
Sorry,
No, he's good and everything. He just said he had it was pretty much like a bad cold,
so
headaches
really
and this and that.
him
So
he
but
didn't
he's really. He's also 23 or 22.
So the dude that me and Zach worked with was only fucking like 35 years old, and he worked out all the time and was healthy as fuck.
Right.
That's what we're saying. Age, your genes, it doesn't matter. It can kill anybody for any, It's just, it depends on what it does. I literally
think it just fucking depends on, like, your genes in general.
Yeah, it's just like your DNA. It just affects some people's...
And your immune system and shit.
DNA, whatever, I mean, I'm not a scientist, but... Yeah. It kills some people, it doesn't kill others.
It definitely affects people differently. But some people don't even get symptoms of it when if they got it,
And you can be a carrier and pass it on to other people that it could kill.
Yeah,
and that's without
even knowing you have it, because you don't have any symptoms at all.
That's what a lot of people don't understand is... You might not know if you even have it, and you could be spreading it to vulnerable people.
Or get maybe just a little sick, almost like you're like, oh, it's just a little fucking head cold or something. You know what I mean? Because that's how it affected your body.
Yeah.
But you never get tested, and fucking really, you got corona.
Yeah.
So what? Am I the only one left in the video, or what?
Well, I'm coming back. Don't worry.
We're only going for an hour, boys.
Well,
How long has it been?
it's not even a half hour, I think.
Yep, half hour, 29 minutes and 51 seconds.
Oh,
We're halfway
I'm
through
that good,
episode
ladies
1.
and gentlemen. I am
Nice.
that good.
Where are we gonna post it on?
Something.
I'll have to figure that out. I definitely post it on
This is
YouTube,
green.
you know, and I like my cousin. He does this, and he's got his on like Spotify and stuff. But I think you have to pay to upload it. I don't know if you have to pay continually, like, or I don't know how it works. I'll have to look into it.
Yeah.
But there's tons of free podcast sources that you can post on, and
I mean,
but definitely YouTube, Facebook, you know, whatever. I don't know.
and we're
but
so small, like nobody's even.
we'll figure it out.
Nobody's even gonna pay attention.
Yeah, it doesn't
to
matter
us.
where we share it now. Just,
Yeah.
But you know, it's the
Well, that's
premise.
the thing.
It's the premise.
Everybody starts out somewhere too, you know.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
just keep sharing them and whatever. And it's-
You probably don't really know like PewDiePie. He's a really big fucking YouTube content creator, you know.
Yeah.
But literally back when he first started, you know, whenever he first started it, he
was
did not
nobody.
have
He was nobody.
You know, he had a shitty little camera.
I mean, everybody
Shitty
starts at the
fucking
bottom. You know.
He said his desk was like so small that he could barely fit his mic on his desk with
Yeah.
everything else. I mean, you know.
The
No
lucky,
money, just
the
fucking
lucky
started.
part is we live in Iowa, and houses are cheap. So the fact that we can have a 2-bedroom apartment and turn it into like a little frat house where we can try and make
rent out
a
a
park.
2-bedroom apartment for our like podcast studio.
Yeah, well, people do it in apartments. People do it in wherever.
well, you
If
know,
we
If we
we
were
can
gonna
take
do
this
that, we
wherever.
wouldn't
The
even
only-
get a 2-bedroom. We could just get like a fucking
Well, the only issue is.
what are those ones called where it's like
That's gonna pick up a lot.
Oh yeah, sorry.
what are those ones called where it's like literally like your bedroom and your fucking kitchen and you know like
Yeah.
your sink and everything are like all in this just like almost one room.
Well, yeah, that's the only thing.
Or a
It's not.
studio.
It's not
apartment, a
sound. It's
one-bedroom
not.
studio.
It's not soundproof in here because usually people have those little foam things you put on your bed
But
from
it's
the
pretty good in
1990s,
here though. It's
and they
not-
put them on the
Cartons.
wall. Egg cartons. Oh, well, that too.
Yeah, you can do that too.
But
It's pretty good in here though. The noise,
It's
the
decent, yeah.
reverb in here is pretty
yeah,
on the low end.
I mean,
so.
but even still, you know, we can take.
But
it-
we can do this wherever, yeah. But we just got to be
Let's,
conscious about where we're doing it. We do it outside. There's
Let's
gonna
em-
be, you know,
There's so many.
let's
But
empty the
even
shed
still,
out and throw a couple
That-
throw a couple couches in there, a little fucking.
we'd have to put those like
coffee
something
table.
up though in there
and
to
then
make
yeah, we could
the
just
sound
we
right.
could get
you know?
like some
yeah,
sound dampening foam
Yeah.
shit or something.
Yeah.
it'd
some
be
type of shit
really
and just
fucking hot
fucking
in there though.
food on
Just in a, and
Oh,
it'll be either really hot
It's
or
your
really cold.
it's your shed, right? You can do whatever you want to it, right?
Yeah, it's our shed.
Fuck, we'll put
We
some.
could put an air
well,
conditioner
well,
in that bitch, bro.
well, but
We can even
that's
build.
gonna pick up.
Yeah.
We can
I'm
even,
just saying you can put vents
sheds
in it
are
and
relatively
stuff
cheap. We can even just build a second one. Honestly, just
a
have
nicer one.
a
and-
nice.
but you'd probably
somewhat
have to
nicer.
get that approved unless it's
There
a
you go.
unless it's
Mini
a
shed,
sheet
a
shed.
little
If
tiny
you're
shed
the-
like that
if
with
you're the
metal.
homeowner, if you're
But
the
there's a
homeowner,
sh-
you can put a shed out there.
But there's a threshold. If it's so big, you have to have
Yeah.
the city come inspect it.
Right.
But like one like that, my
Yeah.
dad just got one. It's like about the same size, but I think it's like plastic walls or something instead of the metal ones. You don't need. Like,
But I wonder what the, because you can build your own shed whatever size you want. But if
Yeah.
it's
I
over
mean,
a
you can
certain
order a
size,
kit.
you have to have a city inspector come look at it and approve it and this and that.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that's an issue with anything. You have to go by the city and try and figure this out. It's like, oh, I want to get this,
And
this, and
pay
that.
them money.
Yeah, I got. It costs this much for this, and that. Oh, I'll do that. Pay for it and already do it. And then the
just
city
the
will
fuck
come
thing
knock
about-
on your door and like be like, "Hey,
America.
guess what?
Yeah.
You can't do that."
I mean, I guess other countries probably do it too to an extent,
Well, I
but I
mean,
feel like
there's
America,
there's
America
probably
does
worse
it the most
circumstances.
they can. You know what I mean? Like America does it the most they can.
There's even worse circumstances as far as that goes. As far as like, I mean, we are lucky as far as it goes because some people it's like, oh, you have to do that for that. You know, it's like,
That's why
I'd kill for that.
I'm
you know?
tempted to move to another country because there's
Well, I
so
mean,
many taxes and rules and stuff
It'd
here
probably be
that
Canada.
that doesn't happen in other countries.
Yeah.
Like,
Canada's
you know,
probably one of
yeah,
the best.
Canada. Like, fuck.
Canada's cool.
I've thought about
I
that
mean-
so many times because you have a baby here. I don't know what the total cost is, but I know it's like a ridiculous
Yeah.
amount. You go to Canada, free.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, yeah, and
you got to be a citizen, but
But at the
in
same time,
Canada, or sorry, Jacob.
go ahead.
In Canada, like moms that just had kids, they get like a few months off of work, maternity leave. You know, here you're lucky to get maybe like a month off of work.
Yeah.
And I saw an article one day about jobs in other countries, and it was like a chart comparing pay and benefits and all that to other countries of the same exact like company. Like one of them was Burger King. Here in America, they get
Minimum wage.
I don't know the exact details, but I think it was like no vacation, like $12 an hour.
That was like the rounded out number, you know, like,
and
because there's some people that are making minimum wage, you know,
and in the UK they're making like $18 an hour, full like 2-week vacation starting,
benefits,
like this and that, and it's the same company, but in a different
we're young
country.
enough that would be
yeah,
kind
it's
of
just
like
a different,
smart,
differently
that would
run
be
country,
kind of a smart
you know?
thing to do as far as like, I mean, if you can try and figure, because everybody wants to try and figure out a career right now in your life, and it is smart to get into a career, because we're 25 years old right now, and if we start getting something going for us right now, then by the time
I've already started on
by the time we're 50 or maybe a little less, we can be retired. We can have already enough saved, depending on what job.
My goal is to take over my dad's company eventually.
It's so hard to figure out what job you want to do and what job you and they put that pressure on you when you're 18. Even when you're 18, they were
even before
what do you want
that,
to do? What do you want to do? What do you want to do? What do you want to do?
I remember back in middle school, they first getting asked about like
because you're
like
already
what do you
at a
want
job at 14.
What do you think you want to do as a career when you're older?
Know.
You know,
think you know back then, but now you're like, man,
yeah.
Like I wanted to be. There was like 3 things that I was for sure I was going to do: helicopter pilot, train engineer, or firefighter.
Yeah.
Why I don't know, but I would still love to be a helicopter pilot.
Yeah.
That would be.
I mean, that'd be
awesome.
cool. Hell yeah, that'd be cool.
At 4 years old, I wanted to be like Bruce.
I mean, they probably get paid decent money. Any type of pilot, you know.
And I don't want to be like a military application. I'd rather be like maybe. I don't know, tourist.
A personal fucking...
Yeah, like something like that.
Tour, like a tour pilot or like somebody's personal...
Maybe not even necessarily tourism, but like, you know, transporting goods or I don't know, you know, who knows.
When I was 4, I knew
somebody's
pretty much
personal
knew what I
helicopter
wanted
pilot.
to be.
Yeah.
I wanted
Tony Stark's personal
fucking... fucking...
I knew what I wanted to be at 4.
Jay-Z.
At 4, I wanted to be...
If they're paying me, I'll fly them anywhere.
I wanted to be just like Bruce Lee when I was 4, but that's like such like a fucking I don't know. It's such a weird concept.
Don't tell me that it's too big of a dream to chase. Because nothing's too big of a dream to chase. Because people have done have done crazy things. It's just determination, and you know.
Well, here's the thing. It's not even a dream. It's not even a nothing. Because if you look far enough into Bruce Lee, then you end up...
He'd probably say you should strive to become better than me.
Well, you fall into a rabbit hole because I mean I had such a hard time reading and writing in high school and in my whole life, and even now I still struggle. But I mean, as far as like things that interest me, I'm able to kind of pay attention more to that, and I focused in a lot on him, and just the fact that if just wanting to be like Bruce Lee is a failure in and of itself.
In his eyes, almost like
not even in his eyes, but it's not. That's not what he wants. He doesn't want anybody to be like him.
He doesn't want people to
like
strive towards being like him.
Like you said, he wants people to be better than him.
Yeah,
and that's the best thing. That's one of the coolest things about it, because if you're able, like everybody tries to, because since I'm in martial arts now, that's kind of what makes me like him in a way. But like being like him, like I'm being like him by not being like him. That's what his motto is.
Exactly.
Like, his motto, his literal philosophy. He was a philosophy teacher. A quote from him is, somebody asks him what his style was, what his fighting style was, and he says, "The art of fighting without fighting." The reason why he said that is because there's so many different styles that so many people want to practically start up gangs
Mm-hmm.
over when it's mainly the same thing, because you're only using your hands and feet and knees, elbows, whatever you got. That it's impossible to have a different style. So he wants to have one singular style, and that reflects itself within life. He wants to explain that, as far as, I mean, just because there's punching and kicking involved doesn't mean that it's
everybody
anything.
should be unique in their own right.
He's thinking about the inner mind of people, that where you can be different, you can be whatever you want and still be good, and still, but it adjusts to you, because it evolves in personalities. Because a lot of the times people are trying to shove things down their throat, like I mean
people
like religion,
people chase like
religion and mindsets and stuff. They want to cram that down people's throats. But as long as you have a good understanding of all of life, of all of everything, then you can understand what is going on around you. That's what his motto was, because he didn't want barriers. He didn't want people to be like, oh, like, this is my teacher, this is what he teaches me, and that's all I'm going to learn.
This is all I'm going to study, this is all I'm ever going to do.
Yeah, and another quote from him is, taking everything and discard what is useless. Taking what is useful, discard what is useless. Basically, that's basically, you're learning everything, and it doesn't matter. Even at you two probably have never heard that quote before in your life, but you understand it.
Yeah.
You've done that before in school, out of school, at work, whatever.
It's not a bad thing to learn.
Yeah.
Learn it all, but the shit that that isn't gonna be useful.
Yeah. So like, I mean, and a lot of the times people can take that in as they want it, because so many people hear that and like, oh yeah, yep. I'm going to do something this way, I'm going to do something that way, and then discard it because I think it's useless. So you can't really...
The thing is, there is no right
and
way. There is no right way, because everybody...
That all falls back to everybody has their own personality, they're their own person, everybody thinks differently.
That's why it's hard to teach people, in any situation. It's hard to teach someone
It's so
something.
hard to teach people.
Because you don't want to push them to do it your way, Everybody's right in their own way, just because your way is faster or slower
Exactly.
doesn't mean it's wrong.
Just like with Jacob saying he's always struggled a little bit with reading and writing and shit, like... Everybody learns at their own pace.
It doesn't mean you suck at it.
Yeah.
Just,
it doesn't mean it doesn't mean you're dumb. It doesn't mean any of that. It just means like.
And there's so many forms of fighting. Like one of the forms and styles, and ironically, one of them was kung fu. That's like the Chinese style, and that's kind of what that's what Bruce Lee. And it's one of the very many styles that Bruce Lee knew and started off with, actually. But the thing of kung fu is, it, like, in China and the philosophy around it means the art of perfecting something. So if you're good at anything, then or like a painter can be a kung fu guy, a carpenter, this and that. As long as you have perfected and like mastered something, that is kung fu. And there's more involved with it, but most people kind of lose sight of that and don't understand it. They think martial arts is all about punching and kicking. There's a lot of that in it.
There's more to it than that.
That's
though,
a good
too,
majority.
At the same
Yeah,
time.
there's more to it than that, because you
train your mind too, and like.
You train your body as well as your mind, and you get through certain situations. Like I recently got into a fight with my brother. I had to put down a dog that we shared, and unfortunately, it escalated into a prideful match. But I ended up getting on a losing end of it in some sorts, but at the same time, it wasn't. Because he was angry. My brother was angry at the time of the fight, and he came at me with anger, and I knew what to do at the time. And even though I had people holding me back, I knew what to do at the time, and I just stayed calm and stayed still. I mean, I ended up losing because I was getting held back and I wasn't able to defend myself properly. But that's besides the point.
But still, like the way Alec acted compared to the way you acted.
Yeah.
Alec was strictly following his anger.
Yeah, and strength.
And it was all fucking. Yeah. It was all out of rage.
And that's unfortunately what one in that. That wouldn't have won him the fight if it was fair. If it was just me and him taking it, like settling it right there.
The only reason,
I mean, he might have won. He could have won. He's got a puncher's chance, but at the same time, you know, with my training at the time, it probably couldn't have gone. It kind of could have gone a certain way, but that's besides the point.
If I can interrupt you for just a second. The only reason you got at a disadvantage was because your mom and your sister were holding your arms back.
Whoa, yeah.
And obviously nobody was even holding Alec back, so he had, he was full movement.
He was the aggressor and the one coming. And
he was so angry. He was following his emotions, which was anger.
Yeah.
And that's why when he was fucking had you in a headlock, he was like, I don't care if you're tapping when you tap.
Yeah.
Somebody that was in their right mind they would have been like, okay, like
he's done.
I got the advantage on you, but no, he was like, I'm gonna fucking choke you until you pass out, pretty much,
And there's certain times where you have to do it, and you have to throw your pride aside.
This happened when you were burying your dog?
Yes.
Are you serious?
Yes. That's what Jesus I forgot Christ. To tell you. I didn't end up telling you that.
Yeah, fucking Alec was being a fucking, just a fucking self-centered, everything's about him. And Jacob was dumping the dirt on Callie, and Alec fucking made a remark. Oh, you're, what did he say?
You're being disrespectful.
You're being disrespectful the way you're dumping the dirt on her.
Yeah.
But
that's what I was trying to get to.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where it escalated. But regardless of that, he's always like that. He's always headstrong, but at the same time, he always wants to lift heavy and lift hard and make sure he's strong or whatever, instead of working on specific muscles and skills to manipulate and disarm somebody or stop or interrupt somebody's movement. That's what Bruce Lee was all about. Bruce Lee was all about interrupting somebody's movement and disarming somebody.
The thing about
in a sense, there's more to it than just disarming somebody. But
the thing about Alec is he's super cocky, and he's pretty much one of the people that thinks like the world revolves around him. And even though it fucking doesn't, like if you don't get it his way, it's a big ass deal. And you know what I mean.
And with people like that in the world, it's unfortunate because there's so many people like it, and so many people, and he's just trying to act and follow along. And until you have an individual mindset, like Bruce Lee wanted people to have, you can't. You will never find peace, or you'll never find happiness with everything.
Don't be a follower.
Right. I just lost my dog. That was his also, because I had to take care of it. But and I've lost. She was more his dog than she was. And I've also lost a best friend. I've also lost grandparents and other friends and all that stuff. So. And I've been through the ringer so many times, but I've came out of it the same. I made sure of that. I've had cousins that have seen, apparently have seen people blow their brains out in their heads, and they think they can, and they're only a day older than me, and they think they can just do whatever they want willy-nilly and not even have give 2 cents about anybody. And it's the same thing with not just people in my family, but
everybody lives those same situations that he's talking about.
Everybody on Snapchat, anybody that's 25 and has kids,
anybody in the world has those same problems,
and not taking care of what they need to take care of. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they're thinking. They think about themselves in the wrong way. Their priorities aren't straight.
Everybody's got problems.
Mm-hmm.
Some people
you get in the mindset. People get in the mindset where it's like, oh, I've got it the worst in the world, worse than anybody else, and it's
you
like
always got to think.
And it's like there's people out there that have it so much fucking worse than you, and they've got a better outlook on it than you do, and they're actually happy, you know, way happier than you are, because you're just like, oh, I have it worse than anybody else in the world.
You can't get wrapped up in your problem.
Yeah.
Too many people have lost sight of what they hold dear to them, and it's because some other person did something to them or has had something.
There's a lot of different reasons, you know what I mean, to get in that rut in your life, and everybody gets in that rut in their life, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and may it be a death, may it be a life, even because some people react different with a pregnancy, and you know, so on and so forth.
A death of a family member that you love dearly,
or
you know,
a friend, or animal, you know, but you have to make sure that your head's on right, and you
never do something drastic that you wouldn't do if that wasn't happening, or you know.
Because I've seen so many people that we've grown up with even just lose sight of track and just kind of just go bonkers. You know, you think they're
well, what,
right.
5 people from our 2013 class killed themselves.
Well, right, I mean, but that's just human nature in a lot of ways, because I guess
people just get so far into it that they think that they got nothing else. But it's like, if they really fucking reached out, they have plenty of people that would drop everything.
Unfortunately, there's going to be some suicides around.
But when it gets to that point, it's like people just don't think they got anything.
Yeah, you just don't know when. I had it front center, front row. And I'll tell you what, I'm good at noticing like emotional problems and doing all this and that, and I could not tell you that. I couldn't
Garrett
tell you
felt
that
the way he did.
Yeah, Garrett, couldn't tell you that. He was like,
you would never know if your best friends.
I seen him hours before it happened. I asked him. I said, "Do you want me to come pick you up from work? Do you want me to do this?" And he refused everything. I had a pile of.
For the last 10 minutes, I think we should switch up the topic.
Yeah, let's talk about some lighter shit.
But just regardless, I'll end on this.
Suicide is never an option.
Call suicide hotline if you got issues. Talk to them and whatever you need.
Call the suicide hotline. Call your friend.
Yeah.
Call your mom. Call your dad. Even if you argue with them.
If you got somebody.
Even if you got bad problems with. You know,
if you got somebody bullying you, saying don't tell mom, don't tell dad, don't fucking tell this person or that person, and you think there's an issue, fuck their feelings, and then tell that person if needed be. But yes, regardless of that.
Yeah, we got about 7 minutes.
We got 7 minutes.
First episode.
Last topic. A few topics, I guess. I don't know. This has kind of been a fun. Conversation.
We kept the
conversation. We're a little fuzzed up as far as tipsy goes. We're not. Hopefully, we're not looking like idiots.
Hey, but that might be a occasional thing that happens on the podcast. Because
I mean, everybody has like, and honestly, we don't know how long these things are going to go. It just seems better that
we'll figure it out.
We just go for an hour. The first one we got an hour going.
I think roughly an hour is a good.
Yeah, an hour. Yeah, usually. I mean, depending on the situation. If we got,
we could go longer and cut shit out.
Yeah.
If we got better topics or like a different setting that we're in, like if we're camping somewhere. Then that'd be a thing.
Well, I could go on talking still for another hour.
Well,
right. And what I was gonna say was, as we keep going, we need to start getting a little more structured. Having actual. That doesn't mean like, hey,
we're just winging it right now.
That doesn't mean, hey, this is what we have to talk about at this time. But I'm saying, like, at least we could get a piece of paper and write down.
Have some topics.
Yeah, have some topics to bring up during the, when we get a little sidetracked. Okay, we're going to talk about this.
really got nothing.
Regardless, I mean, I think we answered a lot of questions. I mean, nobody's asked us questions, but there's like questions as far as like people have as far as life goes that
we talked about
that give a different perspective.
Very relatable.
They give a different perspective, you know, and it was somewhat educational. I dropped a little Bruce Lee knowledge, you know. So I mean, and most people don't know that much about Bruce Lee and how smart he was like that as far as it goes. But
people like to see to watch shit like this because it's
relatable.
relatable to their own life. It's like, oh,
right.
Hey, these guys have gone through the same type of shit that I've been through before.
Yeah, we're just quarter century humans, you know, if we're lucky enough.
And everybody goes through the same shit at some point in their life, you know.
A little differently.
Yeah, some people have it a little bit worse, but
we're at a quarter century crisis, not a midlife crisis.
No, if we could all just come together as
if we're lucky enough to make it to 100, you know,
as one human race, if we could just come together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, totally.
Kumbaya. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
what do we got left here, Brandon?
We probably got about 5 minutes left.
Well, I mean, 5 minutes. Well.
Yeah, well, 4 minutes. You know.
About 4.
If we're gonna cut it at an hour, you know.
I mean, we don't have to like necessarily keep it at an hour. We can cut it before or after. I mean,
we might as well just cut it at an
I
hour.
think
we
had a good.
We can do a little outro.
Next
or
time,
something, you know.
Well, yeah. Next time, there's probably going to be more Bruce Lee knowledge. That's probably about all I got. I'll talk about Bruce Lee and whatever.
Right, every episode can't be about Bruce Lee.
Well, I know, but more than likely, I can.
Not everybody wants to hear about Bruce Lee.
I can throw something in there. It's a little.
Yeah, maybe you should start looking at Bruce Lee quotes.
That's the only ammo I got, guys.
Maybe that could be your thing.
A wise man once said.
You'll have a Bruce Lee quote.
Wise man named Bruce Lee
every
once
episode,
said.
you know.
You'll just have a bunch of quotes from him. I mean, like when we say something that like goes with the quote, you're like, oh, as a wise man once said.
Yeah. I'm either going to do that and a bunch of jokes that follow along with it that I did not make up myself. It just kind of reminds me because certain jokes are good metaphors and I like to throw that in there. So.
Well, are we wrapping it up, boys?
Yep. I guess so.
All right. Well, it was a good first episode of the Burn Bros. We'll figure shit out as we go. I think it went all right.
The episodes will get better. They'll get more.
Yeah, I mean,
they'll get more.
This is episode 1.
We'll get a little more structure.
Yeah.
You always start at the bottom, as
get a little more
as a wise man named Drake once said.
Started from the bottom, now we here.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
So I'm not even.
As a wise man once said.
That stuff.
We'll work on our outro for the next few episodes, but for now.
It's been fun. It's been great.
It's been great. These are going to be on YouTube, hopefully Spotify, maybe some other platforms eventually.
You know,
but
we'll
for
see.
you guys on YouTube, for you guys on YouTube, subscribe, like, and hit that bell for some more relatable videos.
Yes, sir. And ma'am.
Peace.
And
peace
ladies
out.
and gentlemen. I think it's still recording.
That'll be.
Peace out.
That'll be a good.
Yeah.
I think it's still. We're